What's going on, Aquarius? Oh, look at that. You're moving in real time. And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Nature, my problem. Justin here, and I hope you're having a phenomenal month so far. This is what happens when you're the last sign that I do. You get all the tea. For those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Aquarius. And it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. You want to know why there, Aquarius? Because it is Celestial News Monthly. Oh, and sidebar. So I'm going through a little bit of a transitionary period. You know what I mean, Aquarius. I just did Capricorn's video. But yeah, I'm going through a bit of a transition right now. So there may be some changes here the next couple weeks. So just kind of bear with me there, Aquarius. You know, again, nature, my problem. Let's talk about you. Because with this monthly spread, when the sun moves into a new sign, we're going to talk about where the planets are at and then how we can work with the energies. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. So smooth. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Aquarius. So I have some oracle cards laid out here with the zodiac signs that the planets are in. I'm going to pull an oracle cards from this deck for each of them, and then we'll get some tarot cards to get some more details on the mix. But before we jump into this thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situation, okay? And then in case you all were curious, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested there, Aquarius. But before we jump into this energy, let's talk about Gemini, because Gemini's having a small little shindig that they're throwing for their birthday season. They got the Sun in Gemini, and then Mercury will be entering Gemini a little bit later in June. But the Sun enters Gemini on the 21st of May and will be there through the 21st of June. And with this energy there, Aquarius, it really inspires our curiosity and opens our mind up to new perspectives and just like, it's really a great energy if you've been wanting to maybe think about starting like a new course of study. You know, maybe you want to pick up a new language, you know, maybe you just want to make even just more time for like just some reading or something, just to really kind of get those brain juices flowing. Great energy for this, Aquarius. But even on a broader scale, you know, yours being a sign of networking and socializing, Gemini is also about, they're the sign of communication, intelligence, you know, they're very witty, clever, funny sign. This is a great energy for, you know, connecting with others, filling our lives with a little more fun, a little more light-hearted energy, and just, you know, just a bunch of just laughs all around here, there, Aquarius. And then with their ruler, Mercury is going to be entering on the 11th of June and will be there through the 26th of June. And with this energy, you might be feeling a little more clear-headed, a little more objective and mentally flexible. So look at that, get that brilliant mind of cooking there. Because this is something too, speaking of that, considering, you know, Gemini moon or Gemini energies are very overactive energy, especially with Mercury being at home in Gemini. I got a Gemini moon, I'll tell you what, thinking all the time. So if you feel inspired there, Aquarius, you know, something I've been telling people, definitely keep a notebook by you. You know, you should just always have just a notebook on hand, or at least it's something to record your thoughts, because even if it doesn't resonate with you, who knows, while you're out there socializing, you might run into someone who might resonate with that idea, and look at that, you're collaborating. But also, you know, with it being overactive energy, you know, just want to be mindful of it, especially if you're doing any kind of like studying or anything along those lines. Make sure that you're just giving yourself little brain breaks in between. You might feel a little distracted and things, so just be aware of that. But last thing, this is a nice little setup for you too, because Gemini is going to be forming, depending on where you have Aquarius placements, the Sun and Mercury will be forming a trine with those natal planets. And how you find those, Aquarius, I actually have a couple of apps that I personally like using down in the description box, but you just need your date of birth, place of birth, and time of birth. And what I found sometimes with working with people's charts is that sometimes they have their time of birth is missing, and that's fine. It's the couple of things you want to be kind of weary of, depending on depending on where the moon placement is, if it looks pretty comfortable in the moon, you know, like if, you know, you can probably go ahead and assume that's your moon sign. I don't know my mom's time of birth, but where her Pisces, she has a Pisces moon, and where that kind of falls, it's like about the, I think it's about the 12th, 15th degree, and when I looked further, the moon is pretty much in Pisces for the next couple of days, so you can kind of gauge it off of that. Your rising, I would take with a grain of salt, and then any signs that you have that are that fall on either like a 29th degree or like a 0 degree, because for example, my stepdad, when I pulled up his chart, I didn't have his date or his time of birth, and so it had registered him as a Taurus moon. But then when I got the time, turns out it was a Taurus moon on the 29th degree. And then when I found his time, turns out he's actually a Gemini moon on the 0 degree. We actually share the same sign, which was kind of wild. But depending on where you have this placement, your Aquarius placements, Gemini is going to form a trine, and trines are like the most fortunate energy, a blend of energies. You know, it's very lucky, very harmonious, just very free, creatively free-flowing energy, and great energy for, like, you know, really tapping into your natural abilities, you know, and pay attention to any type of opportunities that come your way, you know, big or small. You know, don't dismiss anything. At least give it a second to ponder on those things. You know, I almost missed out on a Virgo came to me with an opportunity, and at first I kind of brushed it off, but then when I thought about it, it's like, oh, it's about to solve all these problems. So that's how it may be presented. So just kind of really be aware during these times here, Aquarius. But let's see what you got here. Dang, absolutely. You know what? That's sick. I like that. Because let's talk about this. You got the 9th card of Scorpios here, which is the Phoenix card. Look at you rising from the ashes. And with this is a card of transformation, eternal soul, renew, resurrection, rebirth, destroy. Oh, and we're rising from the ashes. Emerge, new era, alchemy, transmutation, ascension. The end is just the beginning. Aquarius. Are you feeling that? And you know what? Because this is a great, this whole year, Aquarius, be thinking about what your ascension looks like. You know, where do you want to grow in life? Because we're getting ready to get into your era here. You know, Pluto's getting ready to set we already got a flavor of it, but when Pluto really settles into your sign, it's going to be great for the air signs in general. You know, really going to bring in some transformative energy, because Pluto is one of Scorpio's rulers. And we are getting into an innovative, futuristic era here, Aquarius. This is your stage. This is good. This is your time to bring it, you know, and however that looks, no matter how big or small, what do you want to grow from this ashes, you know, really, and that's something too, you know, because when you have an outer planet like Pluto moving across, like, you know, your planets like that, because that's not going to happen again for another, you know, 200 years, for Pluto to make a cycle. So this is a very special time for you, Aquarius, you know, these next couple of decades, you know, these next couple of decades. So really be thinking about this stuff. You know, we are in a very reflective period of time, and this is really, you know, this is a great time to get in. And listen, this is not something where you need to feel pressured, you know, or feel this stress, because, you know, you know, depending on how these energies might be resonating with you, it can feel like a lot, you know, like there's maybe a lot of, or like a big weight on your shoulders, or like these expectations and things. And it's like, don't put that pressure on yourself. What do you want to do? You know, forget society aside. What do you want to do? How is this looking like for you? And then focus on that thing. You know, let that be your guide, because it can seem like a lot, but man, it's going to be brilliant when you rise up from this resurrection here, you know. But let's get some tarot on this and get some more details. Absolutely, Ace of Wands. Oh, dang, let's see what else we got. Ace of Wands in reverse here. Let's see what else we got. The Hierophant. Okay, I'm with it. So you got the Hierophant and the Ace of Wands in reverse. And that's fine, because this is the question that we're asking ourselves right now. the Hierophant is that connection between the heaven and the earth. And I feel like with this Aquarius, when we're thinking about this Ace of Wands in reverse, what do you want to do with this energy that's coming up for you here? Because what do you want to be cooking up? How does that look? And if we're not sure what that is, making that connection with your higher self, what are doing that spiritual search, doing that shadow work. What does that, what areas do I need to heal in? Maybe what things do I need to learn? What stuff alchemy, what stuff am I creating and stuff? Because even the Hierophant is Taurus's card. And even just look at this. You got your Hierophant, the creative card, and then you got this Ace of Wands. I love this Ace of Wands, how it's got the hand with the paintbrush and the fire, because it's just like, ask yourself, what do you want? What value do you want to bring to this new era? Because yours is a sign of, because you're ruled by, one of your rulers being Uranus. Yours is a sign of really the future of technology, of networking. We're getting ready to feel these shifts on a global level, of course, when these outer planets move, but you are the connecting points for the soul tribe. You're the star card. You really are those pins that connect this whole constellation here, Aquarius. So this is a brilliant, I just got chills even just thinking about that. This is a time of what do you want to manifest right now? And then, with the Hierophant being Taurus, take your time with this. Enjoy this journey. They're known as the slowest sign of the Zodiac, but that's because they're a sign of the senses, of all 5 senses, one of their aspects. And to take in all of the stimuli that's going on in the world, we have to pause and enjoy and be present, during this time. And really, Aquarius, during this next year, pay attention to where these energies are guiding you, to what your gut is telling you, because that is going to be key to figuring out, what fuel do we need, or what's driving us towards this spiritual awakening that's happening here. Because that's exactly what this Phoenix is. And listen, these transformation, these metamorphoses, they can feel a little uncomfortable, feel a little weird. And you know what? You got some little tricky energies coming up here with just a couple of them. But I feel like it's going to be one of those things, if you work with the energies, kind of ease into this stuff, it's going to pay off in the long run. Because that's a strong start. I'm with it. Let's see what else we got here, Aquarius. I like it. So you got the 4 of Wands here upright, but then we got the 2 of Swords in reverse here. And so here's the thing. With this transformation here, the 4 of Wands can be like getting to... I feel like the 4 of Wands is almost like a checkpoint in our journey. It's just like seeing where you're at on this cycle right now. Are we feeling good about where things are at? And if we're not feeling in that place, if the vibe doesn't quite feel right, the 2 of Swords in reverse is asking us, what can we do to change? What's throwing things out of mix here? What's keeping us from getting to this next cycle here? Like, what can we do to get back on track? Because here's the thing, if we're not listening to those instincts, then it gets us to this. It just makes this journey a little bit trickier. It's not to say that you're going to miss out on opportunities, but if we don't pay attention to the signs, it just makes getting to it that much longer. So, the 2 of Swords for me, there's a choice that needs to be made. If we're at this place where we don't like what's going down, then, it's not resonating with us, what are we going to do? Do we completely change up completely, or do we keep going the same path but maybe pivot a little bit? Like, let's say, for example, if we're trying to run like a marathon, for example, and let's say, that's a weird one, but let me see if I can think of a better example. Marathon's gonna have to go. I'm short on examples right now. But let's say we're trying to run a marathon. We wouldn't just, if if the training method is how we're like, I'm just thinking on that other end. If the training method isn't how we like it, let's say we've been running on the treadmill a whole bunch of times, but we're not we're not making progress, we're feeling miserable and all of that. Well, how about we switch it up and try running outside? You know, maybe being more in the environment, more getting used to running, like how a marathon's gonna be. I know that's a weak example, but just something along those lines. You know, just if we're, you know what I mean, Aquarius. I hope that makes sense, but. Yeah, this really is to me. And you know what, too, with the Four of Wands, this is, I feel like, too, also just making it a point to just appreciate the wins along the way, you know, like, and to appreciate even if things haven't been feeling, even if we feel like we've gotten a little off track, what have we learned from that, from this path that we have been on? Because there was a purpose. You know, we feel like we don't just end up on just a path just because, Aquarius. You know, we made a decision. And then it's like, what decision did we make? It gives us a whole big old chance to reflect here. And again, like I was saying, we really are kind of in a year of reflection here. So just something to think about there. All right, I'm with it. Oh, wait, more? Oh, okay, hold on, Aquarius. I think I missed something in the Four of Wands. Hold on. Thank you, yourself. Let's see what else is going on here. Oh, well, there you are, Aquarius. Well, one of your cards. So you got the Knight of, let's see. Interesting. Okay, so the Four of Wands. Okay, I see, higher self. It's clarified by the Knight of Swords in reverse and the High Priestess in reverse. And, you know, Aquarius, you know, I feel that with, you know, sometimes with the Knight of Swords, he can be the type that, because he has such a brilliant mind, he's an Aquarian. He sees a lot of potential in things. You know, he's like, all these ideas are brilliant. But the thing is, when the Knight of Swords is in reverse, he can be all over the place. You know, it's just because of that. You know, he sees, because he rules the first two decans of Aquarius and the last of Capricorns. He's kind of doing like a Pluto retrograde right now. But it's not that he can't put in the work, or that it's just like finding that thing to commit to. And if we're not sure what that thing is, you know, again, if something doesn't feel right, High Priestess, you know, your gut, your instincts are telling you that something is off here, Capricorn, then we got to pay attention to that. I mean, and listen, you know, I wouldn't tell you what to do, but just if things have, you know, again, have not been feeling harmonious, something's not resonating with you, you know, take a lunar cycle. This is the High Priestess is a moon. Think about what ways we can get things back on track. You know, the Two of Swords is the moon in Libra. What can we do this cycle to get back in harmony, to get to our strongest resonance, so that we can do more with this Phoenix card, with this transcendence? Dope. All right. Yeah, that's a good little nugget. I don't want to miss out on that. Absolutely. Trust your intuition all day. Wow. You know what? One more thing, because you got divine counterparts here. And because the Four of Wands can be a thing of love here, Aquarius, but just random a little bit. I mean, with them both being in reverse here, if it don't feel right, I mean, this one, we're going to do a quick little love thing. If it don't feel right, Aquarius, you know, we might need to call it. But I mean, just honestly, if things aren't feeling in reverse, you know, but you know what, too? If something just feels a little off, you know, or if we're in like an existing relationship, here's another thing too, communicate. Don't just sit there and if things are feeling kind of weird, communicate, you know, but just that last little bit just kind of popped out to me. So very intuitive little pocket here, Aquarius. Trust your intuition. And you know what, whom better to get intuitive with than with Cancer? Let's talk about Cancerian energy. Because Venus is in Cancer, and Venus entered Cancer on the 7th of May and will be there through the 5th of June. And with this, Venus has a very special relationship with Cancer, you know, because the Venus and the Moon, the High Priestess, they're both feminine energies. The Moon rules Cancer. The Moon is exalted in Taurus. You see how the energies are lining up here for you, Aquarius? But with this energy, this really motivates us to find more secure relationships, whether that be in love, whether that be in maybe our living situation. Consider, you know, Cancer is associated with the 4th house. Maybe this is with our with our work situation, life, well, you know, whatever relationships that we might be pondering right now. You know, how's the relationship with ourselves, you know, becoming more secure in all aspects of that. But considering too, how Cancer is associated with the fourth house, and you know, hit up your real estate agent. This is not a real estate advice, but this could be a great energy for thinking about some real estate. You know, because Venus deals with, you know, abundance, money, finances, and things along those lines. So maybe talk with a real estate agent, see how the market's looking. Maybe if we're thinking about moving, but even if we're not, if we're feeling real comfortable here in our space, what can we do to beautify our space? You know, even more, because you know, Venus is a planet of beauty, but not just being beautiful, but of bringing beauty to the world, you know, in your surroundings. So is there a room that you want to add some paint on? We want to rearrange some things, maybe clean out the attic, you know, I don't know, work out in the garden? Definitely great energy for that. I've been enjoying Venus in Cancer all day. It's been actually rather fantastic. My sun signs in Cancer. But yeah, I think that's all I got there. let's get an oracle on this. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so you got the fourth card of Sagittarius here, which is the gavel card. And with this card, this is a card of conviction, decisions made, pay attention, offer accepted, legal matters, court order, fair, finished, being judged, bring order, serious situation, important decision, and assertions. And so just thinking about how we were talking about earlier, and we're going to talk about a little bit about love stuff, and then we're going to move on to some bigger stuff. But and not that love isn't a big thing, but just thinking with the Four of Wands, how that can be a card of marriage. If we're going through any sort of like legal things right now, I feel like that, I don't know, you know, if there's, whether this is a marriage or maybe it's a divorce, separation, however this is looking. Let's just be, well, if this is a marriage, congratulations, and let's make sure that we're vibing here. But if this is not, if we're on the other end of this thing, you know, where separations can be kind of crappy, you know, like that ending of a cycle. At the same time, though, I feel that, you know, depending on how maybe the relationship went down, you know, I feel that it doesn't have to be anything where there has to necessarily be any type of friction, let's say, you know, because the situation is already, you know, kind of like not ideal. And it's like, why throw more wood on that fire? You know what I mean? We can be, you know, depending on what happened, it's like we could blame another person, sure. But I feel like it's something to kind of maybe, something to think about. Because this is kind of like something that I've been kind of thinking about even here recently, is like, instead of blaming a person for a situation or something like that, it's not that necessarily the person is, you know, kind of did what you're crappy. It's like what you did was crappy. The action is what I didn't care for. You were great. You know, we got together. You know, there was something here that is at least considered getting with you. There had to have been something nice. He saw something in this high priestess of this Hierophant, but. You know, like, let's give just something to think about, you know, it's like putting it on the action. And I find that just like, we can just call it a day where it's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that wasn't me. I definitely wasn't at my best vibration there, you know, just kind of, just again, just a thought. But I do feel like a little bit bigger here, Aquarius, you know, just how we came out the box, you know, ascending. There are some important decisions that might need to be made with this, and just decisions that need to be made in general. Just like, what does that look like? And, you know, take it, and I feel like, you know, too, again, don't let this be like something where you have to put a bunch of pressure on yourself. This is stuff where personally, I do, when I'm working on myself, it's like I do stuff in cycles, you know, I do stuff in lunar cycles. It's like we start on the new moon. What's my intention this lunar cycle? And I let that be whether this is a routine, you know, whatever we're growing. And then I, you know, give it those 20 some odd days to stick. And that's what we're going to be working on. But, you know, this year is really like a slow and steady type of energy here, you know, Aquarius. And especially with like these, I feel like these next couple energies for you might be, you were going to definitely need to exercise some patience and some things and really listen to our high priestess, listen to that intuition. But, yeah, you know, and I will say one more thing. When we're going through this growth, this ascension, it looks differently on everyone. I'm just thinking with that being judged, try not to be too harsh on yourself, Aquarius. If we don't feel like we're at where we're being, because that can get you in a place where it can make the journey feel kind of daunting, when we're being hard on ourselves. It's just like, gosh, I wish I was here. It's just like, no, you'll get there when you're meant to be there. Enjoy this time right here. It's like, okay, you want to get here. What's going down in the present? The high priestess, she's the type that, if she wants to, in other decks, she has this crown that is, it's the waxing, the full moon, and the waning crescent. And that's to symbolize like that she sees how she sets her intention, and she's in that, and she's already foreseeing how it's going to get to this place. But it's like she's got to trust her instincts to get to this stuff, and she's not going to, I hope that makes sense, that she's not like judging the process along the way. And she's, yeah, I hope that makes sense, because this is a lot, and ascension looks differently for everyone. So this is something where, if anything, if you're going to judge yourself, just celebrate it. That you gotten this far, and that we're still learning, and that we're still growing and figuring this thing out here. But let's get some tarot on this. All right, Aquarius, see what we got here. I'm with it. I'm with it. So you got, speaking of Pluto, so you have here, you got the Four of Swords, and then you have the Emperor upright, and then you have the Five of Cups, and then you have the Judgment card in reverse here. And so, Aquarius, I feel like for some of you, with this Five of Cups being in reverse, if we've been feeling disappointed about how things have been going as of late, however long, we've been maybe trying to power through this thing, and we seem to not quite be getting where we need to be. We can't seem to quite get to that next level, or whatever that looks like. Then Four of Swords, I feel like this energy is definitely, let's pause for a second, let's reassess, let's take a moment and get our heads right. Let's just like, whatever that looks like. If we got to get in touch with nature, if we need to go on a trip, maybe, if there's however that's looking, because sometimes when I feel like with the Emperor energy, when we or how do I want to put this, when we're thinking about how we can get to this Emperor energy, the Emperor, he's the fourth card, and when you think of the Four of Swords, the fours are a numbers of security. And if something has gotten where the Emperor's not feeling balanced, feeling secure, even the Emperor's got to take a break. That's where the card before him is the Empress. And if he's not feeling abundant or secure in any kind of way, we need to take a step back, figure out what areas need nurturing, so that we can get back on that horse, the Emperor, to get to the Hierophant. You see how this thing is, how this journey is building up here? But if we keep just kind of forcing this thing, and if we're doing the same thing, expecting different results, then eventually that's going to lead us to a hanged man situation, where higher self is going to force you to think about it for a new perspective. And listen, that's not to get you scared. It's just to get you aware of just what's going down in our situations here, and paying attention to the decisions that we've made up until now, and what can we do to tweak things if it's not getting us to this Emperor energy, feeling secure, feeling confident in what we're doing. So it's all right, Aquarius. Like, man, this is gonna be a deep one, and I'm with it. And it makes sense though, especially with Gemini energy too. Your mind's gonna be thinking about a lot of this stuff here, so it absolutely makes sense. But because the energy is easy for you to think about right now, Aquarius, work with this thing. Alrighty, now let's get into these next couple ones, because these next couple energies are gonna be some interesting ones. Because Mars, actually I'm recording this, Mars is entering Leo on the 20th of May, and will be right before the sun, and will be there through the 10th of July. And with this energy, Aquarius, this energy encourages us to really recognize, you know, just to recognize all the positive moments in our lives, and then think about how we can create more moments for excitement and for play and for happiness, because Leo is my Mars is in Leo, and I'll tell you what, Leo is a very fun sign. You know, they're very generous, very charismatic, you know, creative as all get out. I mean, they're your opposite sign, Aquarius, and this is a great energy to see. Well, again, your creativity is going to be increased, and what better way to get in touch with your intuition than to tap into that creative side of yourself, whatever that looks like. You know, if it's creating, if it's painting, if it's music, if it's graphic design, if it's building apps, if it's woodworking, you know, whatever. You know, follow your heart. This is a great opportunity for that. Leo is they're associated with the heart, and you know, listening to that high priestess. You know, what is it that would light a fire in you, that would get you to take charge and get you to emperor, you know, all day. But the thing with this energy, because Leo is your opposite sign, again, depending on where you have Aquarius placements, this is going to form an opposition with your sign, and oppositions can provide, you know, little tension because you know they're opposite signs. You know, that Leo energy is trying to merge with that Aquarian energy, and you know that's going to cause some conflict, some challenges. You know, it's a weird kind of relationship, but when we can learn to integrate that energy, you know, to balance that stuff in there, you know what I mean? Man, oppositions there's abundance, you know, can really lead to like a great level up here. But it might feel a little bit of tension here over these next couple months. But I feel like, you know what, of the signs, if someone's going to have, I feel like to be opposed with like Leo, it's just like, okay, so let's just work in more fun then. We can learn a lot from our opposite signs, Aquarius. And if you've been maybe studying too much or anything along those lines, let's make some more time for fun, because it balance, you know, you work smart, play smart, it keeps you inspired and all this stuff. But let's get an oracle on this. Interesting. All right, another 4 here. You got the 4th card of Virgos here, which is the handcuffs card. And with this card, this is a card of control, defenseless, target, handicapped, held back, prey, suppress, need to break free, detained by external forces, applying force, incapacitated, submit, and feeling powerless. And just one thing, Aquarius, before we kind of dive into this, I got a couple of things coming through with this. Just because, you know, we got the gavel here, we got the handcuffs, and we have the emperor. I will say, if we're in any sort of like, I just want to say, be mindful with authorities. You know, not to say that we need to, not that I feel like you're just like cooking up trouble and things along those lines, Aquarius, but I just feel like that let's just be mindful of authority figures, you know, and just like, you know, where our, you know, because, you know, sometimes when we're going through these times, you know, we can get maybe, you know, energies might feel a little hot, you know, I'm not, you know, however this may translate, you know, but just if we're going through any sort of legal things or anything along those lines right now, let's just make sure that we're being mindful, that we're keeping a cool head, you know, that we're being patient with the situation. Again, may not be ideal, whatever this is that's going down, but you know, and again, nothing to be worried about if we're not in something, but you know, just something to be aware of, because you know the Emperor can deal with authority as well. But I also feel with this card, you know, if there's something that has been suppressing you, if you've been feeling held back in some area, you need to break free. It's asking yourself, what do I need? Like, what can I do to do that? You know, because here's the thing. If we've been kind of stuck in a cycle for a while, I feel like especially for air signs, you know, it would be a great thing if we don't have eyes on this stuff, but we know something's out of balance, write this stuff out. Like I was saying, I have a Gemini moon, and with how overactive, couple that with a Cancer sun, like it's just thinking a lot and feeling a lot. And sometimes you got to sit down and process that stuff, Aquarius, and work this stuff down, because it's one thing to just understand your emotions, but it's another thing to really see that thing in front of your face and feel what's going down, where that's trying to guide you. So you just, yeah, if you've noticed these things, sometimes when you write this stuff or you down, you can see like a pattern, and it's just like, oh, there's that thing that I need to let go. That's what's keeping me from, you know, getting to this next level here. The new thing that I can work on. And listen, it's gonna feel like a challenge at first. I mean, that's a tough, the Knight of Swords, you know, having that Aquarius and Capricorn energy, you know, that double Saturn energy, that can be a lot, and it's gonna be some work. But man, like I was saying, when you put in that work, Saturn will reward you as much as Jupiter, and you'll feel so much better after this stuff too. Now that we've taken control again, and that we've, you know, finally gotten our lives back, you know, towards the direction that we want, that we feel secure in what we're doing again. So let's get some tarot on this. And you know what, Aquarius? This is why I'm thinking about it. If we are in like a relationship or something, or in like a situation where like if we have like a person who we feel like is keeping us suppressed or something like down, you know, we want to get eyes on that. I feel like depending on how that may translate, again, just with this gavel and, you know, this authority stuff here, you know, let's be mindful, you know, if we need to get some extra people in the mix, however that's looking, you know, we're not trying to manifest anything, you know, too wild here, but just something that if we notice that there's even like some oppressive behavior, anything along those lines, getting eyes on that, and what can we do to get out of that cycle there, because we want someone who's going to raise our vibration and promote growth, not keep us suppressed. So, and that can even be the relationship with yourself, Aquarius, you know, how's that internal emperor doing? Let's see what we got here. You got the Five of Wands here, upright, and then we got the Page of Wands and the Four of Coins in reverse. And so, racking up fours here, Aquarius. And listen, you know, now we're starting to get a couple fives here. The fives can be cards of conflicts. And just the Five of Wands, you know, if we're in a state of, if something is causing you conflict, whether this be a person, a situation, or, you know, apply it to your situation, then the Five of Wands is not just about, you know, focusing like that there's just a conflict happening, you know, that we're just in a brawl right now. It's, what are we going to do about it? This is a card of brainstorming. How do we alleviate that conflict? This is Mars. Love it. Mars and Leo here. How are we going to take action? How are we going to breed some stuff in here? Because again, if there's something that is, you know, preventing your creativity, or that's gotten you, you know, feeling locked up, let's try to break out of this thing. Because the Four of Coins can be, well, the Four of Coins in reverses really can be like, you know, breaking out of these shackles here, you know, because I mean, look at this. I mean, this condor is got this woman. I mean, she's just terrified. But it's like, what are we terrified of, Aquarius? You know, what has got you? And I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be anything, you know, that extreme. But what is holding you back? What has got you in conflict? What can we do to alleviate this thing so that we can, because this card definitely, Page of Wands of the Zodiac, he definitely reminds me of Leo. And it's like, how can we get out of this energy? You know, how can we work in a little more fun into our lives, you know, do some things that, again, raise our vibration and get us back feeling balanced again. All right. And, you know, just how we were talking about with this handcuffs and gavels and Five of Wands, you see all these people in a little tiff here. No fighting, Aquarius. All right, let's get on to another little tricky one here for you, because we got Taurus energy, and we have Big Papa Jupiter that's entering. Oh, what am I doing? Hold on. It's like, that don't look right. We got Big Papa Jupiter that's entering Taurus, and then we have Uranus, who's been in Taurus, your ruler, that's been in Taurus since like 2018. And let's talk about your ruler, your other ruler, because you know you're so cool. Uranus. I mean, look at Uranus is the planet of revolution, change, future. And I mean, look at what Uranus has been cooking up since 2018. I mean, the whole thing, I mean, from how we've been working to all this bank stuff to, I mean, just all aspects of security and things have changed over these last, Uranus stays in about sign roughly about every, I'd say about about 7-ish years or so, because it'll be in, Taurus until the about early July 2025. But all Uranus is doing when he's bringing about this change is making way for, because we're going into the future. We're getting into your age. We know we're coming out of the age of Capricorn, where it's just like we were working hard, we were working on achieving and finding this stuff, and now we're taking that hard work and going into the future, seeing what that means, and we're networking now. And so all Uranus is doing, it can seem like it's just a lot of chaos and that things are going down and it's just doom and gloom. But no, this gives us a great opportunity to create newness out of all of this space that has been made. Think about how we're going to invest in ourselves for the next 20 years. What does that transformation look like? Because it's not even just this. This year going, when Pluto first gets moving, I feel like, the energies are going to be dope. But 2025 is going to be a lit year, because we got 3 big outer planets moving, around that time. It's going to be like back to back. It'll be like the March and a May it's just going to be back to back. So this is thinking about that long-term investment here. Then you couple that with Jupiter entering into the mix. Jupiter entered Taurus on the 16th of May and will be there through the end of May next year, 2024, around the 25th. But with Jupiter being in Taurus, things are going to slow down a little bit. It feels like maybe the abundance might be pouring in a little bit slower, but that's not the point. With Taurus is considered the slowest moving sign of the zodiac. And so but that's just because they're a sign of the senses, and they're about being present and really seeing what's going down in the world right now. What can we invest in? How are we feeling about where everything's at? And if there are any areas that aren't feeling secure, that's one of the things that Taurus covers as well, security. Then what can we do to invest in that stuff? How can we expand? How can we grow? Because Jupiter's a planet of higher learning, luck, abundance, and all of that. But the caveat with that is where, yes, he's super abundant. Where's your resonance at? Because if we're operating in a low vibration, if we're not, if we've been just kind of, what I mean, Aquarius, if we've been just been kind of stuck in something, or just really kind of low, and we haven't been putting in that work for expansion, then Jupiter's just going to give you abundance of low vibrations and keep you there, because that's all the energies that we're attracting. But if we're working towards ourselves and making space and growing and learning and reflecting from ourselves, Jupiter's going to reward you, and he's going to keep it raining, and it's going to be something that is going to work long term. This is going to we're really kind of in like a really slow and steady kind of wins this race here, Aquarius. And not to say that there aren't going to be some wins along the way, some quicker things, but we are thinking, just sort of, we're playing the long game right now. But let's get an oracle on this. I dig it. Absolutely. That's what I'm with it, Aquarius. You got the 3rd card of Libras here, which is the Cabin card. And with this card, this is a card of lonely, confined, detached, remote, secluded, go within, insulate, disengage, close off, kept apart, quarantine, island, segregate, separated, divide, disconnected, and sequestered. And I do feel like for some of you, if we've been asking ourselves these big questions here, these phoenix-sized questions, these emperor-level questions, and we're not sure what's going down, maybe there's a lot of noise that's and then if our environments aren't conducive to this growth right now, it's like, what can we do to feel to feel more zen, to really get in this hermit mode, to get in this high priestess state, you know, to get to this place of zen and really connect with, get reconnected with our inner spirit guides, or however that's looking like for you, Aquarius. You know, I feel like that if we're in this place, you know, if we stay closed off and stop, you know, not listening to that intuition, then things are just going to keep kind of the progress, the leveling up is just going to keep slowing down, and things are going to keep, it's going to feel like things keep getting in our way. But when we journey within and start doing that healing work, you know, finding what areas in our lives do we want to improve, do we need to improve in, and be kind with ourselves when we're doing this stuff, Aquarius. You know, it may, and here's the thing, don't, the same with that Hierophant, you know, try not to rush this process, you know, it'll take as long as it's going to take, you know, like, but I feel like try not to, even just with this Knight of Swords, you know, he can be one that's trying to rush growth real fast, you know. We got to feel it to heal it, you know, whatever it is that's going down, whatever hurt might be happening in our lives here. Oh, hold on. Let's backtrack here while we're thinking about that too. Another thing to think about while we might be in our remote destination here. With Taurus, with Jupiter and your ruler Uranus, depending on, again, where your Aquarius placements are at, that's going to be forming a square with your sign. And squares are kind of similar to oppositions in the sense that there's internal conflicts that happen. You might feel restrictions, there's some challenges. It's like delayed achievements here. Like a great example would be, or at least a good example when I think about a square, is like, your car breaks down and you got to take it into a shop for the month. And in that time, it's like, okay, I feel like squares and oppositions remind us of how resourceful we are, because when situations like that happen, it's like squares in particular, it's like it's sort of like the universe is done. Like, you know, you've ever had like, you know, like a flat tire, things like that, but it's like your car breaks down, you have to take it in for a month, and then it's like, okay, crap, how's public transportation looking? Do I take a Lyft? Do I rent a car? You know, and if I do public transportation, what's my schedule looking like? Do I take the train? Do I take the bus? You know, it's all of those things. It's that energies that get you thinking. But at the end of that little trial there, you've learned to navigate the city. You know, who knows who you might have met on the public transportation. You know, who knows what that might look like. But that's what squares are doing. If even on just on a base level, if it just really can teach you how to be, you know, teach you how to be an emperor, you know, teach you how to, that you can, when you see how you can deliver when the universe throws curveballs at you. So when you go to initiate change, it's to remind you that you can have these resources and you can cook up this stuff whenever you're ready. You know how to do this. It's inherent in you. But it's just sometimes we can forget that, I feel, sometimes with these journeys, and see these situations as just things that are just trying to keep us down. But back to this cabin card. lot to think about here, Aquarius. But I do kind of, one other thing with this energy, I'm going to get some tarot on this. If we've been feeling a lot of this stuff, because this is a lot, Aquarius, and this is a lot we've been thinking about, then this could be something too with this cabin card. Maybe some of us have been sequestered maybe a little too long, maybe been disconnected from others, and, you know, maybe time to come out of quarantine, you know, maybe especially if we're still maybe at this place where we're kind of stuck, bounce some ideas off of people, you know, see maybe they can provide a different perspective that you hadn't considered. But you know, we just want to be aware, especially if we've been kind of stuck in something for a while. If you just stay steeped in that energy, it's like how I was talking with Jupiter. That's just what's going to be permeating. That's not to say, you know, everything might feel fine on the outside, but it's just like internally there might be some turmoil. But let's get some tarot on this. All right. Yeah. Okay. So you got the Seven of Cups upright here, but then we got the Nine of Coins, and then we got the Death card in reverse here. So, I mean, Seven of Cups is like, it's like how I was talking with that Knight of Swords. It's like you got I feel like, that's the thing with being, having air placements, especially, if you have it like sun, moon, rising. But even if you chart, if you got like strong air placement, air signs can see, you're active thinkers. You can see all the opportunities and things. It's just like, ooh, what's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? But the thing is with the Seven of Cups is, what feels right, what one makes sense for you, what's one's going to get you to feeling abundant, feeling like you can create stuff, because the Nine of Coins is getting to that pre-Empress energy. But it's going to be work, because this is Venus and Virgo. To get to the Empress, we got to get into a routine of things. We got to get in I love that, get in the routine of an Empress. That's sick, Nine of Coins. We got to figure out what areas that need to change, that we need to transform. And after we get into that Emperor or that Empress energy, then we can graduate to that Emperor. You see how this all kind of plays in the part here? But if we're feeling spoiled for choice right now and we're not sure what's going down, there's just so much stuff. You gotta, if you stay with your head in the clouds, because that's very Neptune and Pisces. If we get just lost up in the dream and the potential of things, and that's all they're going to stay is just potential, and that's where, so, if we're stuck with these options here, it's really asking yourself what feels right, what makes sense for you, what are you passionate about, what would. Because I feel like, Aquarius, when we think about these things, sometimes we look outwards to try to find these answers here, and they really are all within. And it can be a little weird to think about at first, but when you do when you do that soul searching and put in that shadow work, man, the growth is something spectacular. Alrighty. All right, let's speaking of all these dreams and stuff, because we're about to talk about that Neptune Pisces next. Hold on. Because with Pisces energy, you got your other ruler, Saturn, and then you got Neptune and Pisces. And that Neptune and Pisces Neptune is one of Pisces' rulers along with Jupiter. Neptune has been chilling, she stays in the sign for about 14-ish years. And with Neptune being at home, it's like what I was talking about. Neptune and just Pisces energy, they're super creative. They're associated with the 12th house, and that gets into like dream realms and things. And, we're talking about, Neptune deals with like fantasies and illusions and mystery. But all that, that those things can seem so fantastic. We can get lost in the movie, it's just like it all seems so beautiful, but it's just like, how do we take that and make it, bring it from the dome to the home, make it more practical. And luckily, Saturn's here for that, but we can utilize that to our advantage, Aquarius, because your mind will be so creative. Couple that with Mars in Leo as well. Get this stuff into actions. You see how the energies are trying to push us there to get some things cooking up here? And that's where, and even Neptune and Pisces, how we're talking about all this spirituality here. This is a great time too to get in touch with your spirituality. Find out how that looks. Connect with your again, with higher self, spirit, God, Buddha, Jesus, however that's looking like for you, Aquarius. Really get in touch with that. Ask yourself these questions, because even Pisces is very psychic too. Just all this dope energy, but also yours being a sign of networking and things. This is a very compassionate energy as well, with Neptune being in Pisces. Really great for connecting with others and forming bonds and stuff, and really, being with energies that are trying to promote this growth here, that are with this ascension. And we want to really be mindful of that, just because, like I was saying, 2025 is going to be an interesting year, but with Neptune getting ready to move into Aries, it can bring about some great spiritual leaders here, because that's what I feel like you're getting ready, what you're cooking up here, Aquarius, some kind of spiritual leader here. But where there are going to be those that are raising that vibration, there are also going to be those that might be lowering the vibration, might get into some like weird kind of cultish, kind of fanatic type of energy. So really, especially yours being a sign of connecting us all together, be mindful of the energies that are around us, and the people who are, if we're noticing others that are suppressing this or anything along those lines, let's get some eyes on that. But then let's talk about your ruler, your other one. because Saturn, he's going to be doing his retrograde dance, and he's going to be retrograding on the 17th of June and will be there through the 4th of November. And retrogrades really are nothing to be afraid of, Aquarius. They're a time of reflection. But when Saturn does it, it's a bit of a cosmic interrogation. He's a little aggressive. He's a taskmaster. It's a planet of karma, time, limitations, restrictions. But it's like I was saying, sure, he's got all these rules and things, yes, but it's meant for our growth, and it's because he knows that you can be an emperor. You know, he sees your potential. We all see your potential, Aquarius. It's just now he's asking you to see your potential and really come into that energy. Because with this, we're going retrograde. He's like, yo, Aquarius, what are you doing? What have we been up to? Everything's in reverse. Yeah, see, I told you he's a little aggressive. But with him in particular, you know, specifically being in Pisces, you know, this is, again, ideal for soul searching and doing that shadow work. And there may be some delays and setbacks, but it's like I was telling you, we're in a slow but steady progress, you know. We don't want to rush this thing. You want to be as present as possible for this growth and really appreciate all of these lessons, you know, the good stuff and the bad things along the way, because they really help. They make you a fantastic leader here. So, but let's get an oracle on the mix. I think Capricorn got the same card in the same spot. You got the 8th card of Aries here, which is a shooting star. And that's pretty much what Saturn's asking you. Make a wish, Aquarius. This is a card of quick action, wish granted, rare, falling, moment in time, luck, dynamic, incandescent, dazzled, sudden, short-lived, passionate, passing through, enterprising, and brilliant. In Aquarius, you know I tell you this all the time, you're nothing but brilliant. And what do you want from this world here? What are you trying to manifest? Make a wish, but you know what though? I'm gonna tell you what I told Capricorn. It's one thing to be wishing all this stuff. That's beautiful. Wishes and dreams, fantastic. But that's how we get stuck in Neptune and Pisces, if we just keep them wishes. We gotta put that stuff, oh, I thought I had something here, into action, you know. I did. 9 of coins, you know, because it's one thing to feel like an empress, you know, and to feel abundant, but it's just like, how do we doing things to perpetuate that, you know, to keep that abundance thing going? What are we manifesting? What are we creating? What options are we, you know? So I'm telling you, the energies is setting the stage up for you. This is going to be, you know, do a journal, write a vision board, you know, figure out how can we shine our brightest here, and whatever that. Then really, it doesn't matter how big or how small, because here's the thing: even if we just affect one person, because we really are in a time of just inspiration. There's just so much going on, Aquarius. And if we can be an inspiration, or, you know, really be a driving force, a guiding star maybe for some others, you know, because come on, Aquarius, you are the star card. This is you. We're waiting on you. Look at this. I'm getting some tarot on that. That's freaking brilliant. Yeah, come on, Aquarius. You can be that beacon of hope. That this is your moment in time right here. You know, rare, because this is a rare occasion, like I was talking about. Pluto will never do this again, and not in this lifetime. So big energy here. Let's see what we got. Love it. That's beautiful. You got the Page of Swords here, and you got the Ace of Cups. And it's like, what ideas do you have that are going to fill up all of your cups, that are going to bring you this ultimate fulfillment here? I mean, come on, Ace of Wands, Ace of Cups, think about this stuff here, Aquarius. Feel this stuff. What is it that really gets you out of bed, that gets you driving, that you feel like you would really shine at? And then when we ask ourselves this stuff, really because the Ace of Cups, how I was talking about with Taurus energy, you know, it's getting in. Usually there are 5 streams that are pouring out of these cups, and they all signify one of the senses. And then there's think of think of this hand here as your higher self. And think about you, Aquarius. This is you are the water bearers. And I love when you think about that. I like to think of like, you are the pot, Aquarius. You are the one who has the ideas. And then when you connect with that source, that one that pours the flow, that pours that energy out of there, that's when the energy gets cooking up. You got to make that connection there and listen to these ideas, listen to this. And you know what? Not even just listen to the ideas. I also feel like with this energy too, like even just more so getting out of your head and feeling more of this stuff here. Even with this Knight of Swords, you know, finding that head-heart balance, you know, because that's what's going to, you got some strong intuitive cards here. And I mean, you're strong intuitive, Aquarius, so this is something that you got, but we got to believe that and we got to listen to that more. And how do you listen to it? It's just like when you're doing things that you want to do. Do you want to create some stuff today? Dope, let's do it. Do you want to eat this thing today? No, then don't do it. What does higher self feel like? You know, it's checking in with those body signs. Does this like that? You know, it starts with the senses and then it evolves. It gets bigger, you know? So I love that. Let's see what else we got here, Aquarius. Bam, and there she is. That's my girl. All right. You got the Empress in reverse here, and then you got the Queen of Wands, Queen of Swords. But with this Queen of Swords popping up here, I feel like that when we take this time and think about this stuff, Aquarius, this is Libra's card, finding that balance between head and heart, getting that relationship, that strong relationship with higher self. Because when the Queen of Swords, she rules the first two decans of Libra, last of Libra. First two decans of Libra, last of, she's just a Libra. First two decans of Libra and last of Virgo. And she is about harmonizing her life, you know, being in her Empress energy. Because Virgo, you know, I'm doing a lot. Libra is ruled by the Empress. Virgo, one of their things, you know, one of the things I love talking about is that they're a sign of being routines. And the Queen of Swords is making being the Empress her routine. She's all about being in her Nine of Cups energy. And you see these heads back here? These are, listen, Aquarius, I'm not taking you to go taking heads. She's she's about as hard as Saturn is. But these heads back here, these are the things that are holding us back. You know, paying attention to those things that no longer resonate with you. The Queen of Swords ain't got time for that. If it's throwing off her balance, bye, because that's going to get in the way of her Empress energy. That's going to be in the way of her feeling abundant and feeling like a star. So, and you know what? There's really, because I mean, now that you got the High Priestess, the Hierophant, and then the Emperor and the Empress. I almost feel like, Aquarius, that there's something, because if we're looking for love, it's interesting, Aquarius, because it's like, I feel like that this is a matter of like priorities, you know. It's just like, where is our focus at right now? It's like, are we thinking about ascension? Are we thinking about love? Are we thinking, you know, like where's our head out right now? You know, what are we, because there's a lot going on. So, because it's like, that's interesting too. So I feel like that, because maybe there's some of us, it's like maybe we're this next step that we're thinking about there, but maybe there's like a relationship that might be getting in the way of this thing or something along those lines, just with the Empress popping up in reverse here. But I don't know, Aquarius, there's a lot of, and you know, this could even be, again, this doesn't even have to be just like a love relationship. Maybe this could be even just like a relationship with something. There's something like if we have pay attention to areas in our, here we go, pay attention to areas in our lives that we have strong connections to, you know, with people, with things, with situations, with our spaces, and analyze those strong connections here. There's something about that here. And if we can find that connections, even Libra deals with relationships. If there's something that is, you know, again, that's throwing you out of balance, that's got your intuition off, affecting our abundance, then we got to, and that's affecting, that's affecting this change here. Because I mean, both death, and we're resisting death and judgment here. We got a lot of questions to ask, Aquarius. So, And again, this is not me coming at you. It's just like you got so much that you're bringing here. This is a lot, like a lot of this is a lot of potential here that's going down. And I feel, you know, we talk about this, you know, and it can seem like the weight it maybe is on your shoulders with this stuff, you know, thinking about this world and things, but you can handle it. But the thing is, maybe we're just trying to handle it all at once. And it's like Saturn's just like, yo, if that's not been working, let's handle it in chunks here. You know, if we try to take on all life at once, yeah, we're going to be a little overwhelmed. But, whew, right, because we just been going. Let's get something to drink, Aquarius, and let's talk about this last. Let's talk about Pluto, judgment. Because with the judgment, I love it. Pluto's retrograde. Because with Pluto has been retrograde and for a little while. Pluto's retrograding your sign, but will retrograde into Capricorn on the 11th of June, and will be retrograde in Capricorn till the 10th of October, and then we'll be in Capricorn until right up to about your birthday season. So, but with this energy, this is asking you, what do you need to do to feel independent and to feel free to do what you want based off what you've earned, Emperor? You know, what patterns do you need to change? You know, what Five of Cups? What do we need to let go? What's keeping us restricted, handcuffed, suppressed? All this stuff here, and then what does success look like to you? And you know, and again with this energy. Even just thinking now with that, like thinking a little bit more with that gavel card, really, Aquarius, be kind to yourself, be compassionate. These are normal things to think about. They're grand, absolutely, but everyone thinks about them at some point in time. And I get it. It can feel like, you know, we just want to have it all figured out, but you do. It's all here. And you know what? In knowing that, when you start strengthening that intuition there, Aquarius, you'll get more uncomfortable with the uncertainty. You know, it's just like, you know, you've done what you can. You've listened to higher source. Because listen, I'll tell you what, like I'm in the middle of a weird kind of little tower moment right now. And it's like, sure, could we focus on, could point on all types of stuff here. But there's too much abundance that's coming from it to even be bothered. You know, it's just like you just kind of feel what you need to feel about it, and then you keep it moving, you know, because there's growth on the other end of it. And you know, and it's, listen, again, it's not to rush or anything, you know, just process it as it makes sense for you, but try not to get into a place of where we stagnate. You know, let's process and move, whether that's we're crawling, we're walking, we're sprinting, you know, whatever. But yeah, just make sure that I know I just said don't rush, but you know what I mean, Aquarius. Grow and heal at your pace. But make sure that we are giving that time to do that. But let's get some tarot or get an oracle on this. Yeah. Okay, you got the third card of Pisces here, which is the roundabout card. Oh, and with this card, this is a card of community, connections, new directions, keeping it moving. It controls the flow of information, solutions, circular reasonings, fluid, many working parts, perfect timing, and redirect. And so, Aquarius, you know, if you've been feeling stuck, feel like you've been going round and round and round and round again, then how can we change? How can we get out of that? You know, let's instead of just going in a circle, let's exit. You know, let's just pick one. It don't matter which one. But is that resonating with you? Let's do it. You know, but let's change up the cycle, especially if we've been kind of stuck in something that's been keeping us from getting to this next level here, because it's like the Emperor's right there in front of you. I feel like the finish line's right there, but it's just like we can't skip steps. You know, you gotta learn our intuition first, High Priestess, and we gotta get up, you know, figure out build up our resources, our security, find balance, create beauty, the Empress. So then we can get stronger here, Hierophant, you know, and just go through the major arcana train. But you control the flow of information, Aquarius. You know what you tell yourself, especially you being an air sign. Your thoughts are powerful. So if you get stuck in a spiral or anything along those lines, let's try to when you get eyes on that, let's break that. You know, let's change the narrative and keep it moving. You know, we want to. And however that looks, you know, if we notice we're in like a tough energy right now, again, maybe getting outside, you know, maybe building a fire, maybe getting, you know, whatever, listening to some music, but we stay circulating then, you know. And listen, I'm not trying to be glib or anything, but it's this energy here, Aquarius. This is brilliant. This is fantastic. What you're trying to cook up here. So let's just, yeah, let's get it. Let's get manifesting. But let's get some. You know what? Let's see what we can manifest with some tarot. Let's see. All right. Absolutely. Yes. You got the Eight of Swords in reverse here, then you got the Queen of Cups upright. So this is what I've been saying. You know, if you've been stuck in a thing, you know, in a situation, it's time to get out of our heads, Aquarius. Like I was telling you, the thoughts are powerful. And with the Eight of Swords, though, the nice thing about this card is, yeah, if you feel like you've been stuck in like a prison, you know, or they've just been kind of trapped here, then, you know, the nice thing about that cage is that you built it. This is all in your head and you can knock it down whenever you want. You know the parts better than everybody, you know, and then take this time and reflect, figure out, and be in tune with what you're feeling while you're going through this stuff here, because this is Cancerian energy. The Queen of Cups, she rules the first two decans of Cancer and the last of Gemini. So she's constantly thinking about her emotions, how these things make her feel and how they've helped her grow. You know what I mean, Aquarius? So really tune into that. And also give yourself, especially, you know, this Queen of Cups, Empress, self-care to the max. Take care of your emotions. You know, being aware of like that this is a lot to feel and this is a lot to process. And you know, and if we need to take a little time to process all this stuff, you know, do that. But in order to get through this, you know, what you're telling yourself, you know, what narrative, what information that you keep flowing in your head is going to be pivotal, just indefinitely, Aquarius. So just settle in there. But let's get some more on this. All right, Aquarius, last little bit here. Love it. You got the King of Swords, hubby. I love it. You got the King of Swords. Oh, I love that. Wow. We got the King of Swords, Knight of Cups, and the Moon. And hold on, let's switch back over. Let me tell you what just happened. Because one, we got a full house here. We got our family here. And you know what? I feel like for some of us, you know, maybe if we're at this place with, maybe if we're thinking about like, maybe we're thinking about like a relationship or maybe like a career or something like that. Do we want to start a family? You know, maybe there's uncertainty, you know. I feel like this is something that you got to listen to your feelings of this. Does it feel right now? Does this make sense? Are we feeling in love? And if we're not ready for that family, it's okay. You know, whatever that, if that's something that's resonating with you, because even the Knight of Cups can be a very romantic card, but just with this energy, let's get back to, because what I say, it was the Nine of Cups or Knight of Wands. Oh, where to go? Oh, I lost the other card. Oh, it was Knight of Cups. I'm tripping. Okay, it was the King of Swords, the Moon, and Knight of Cups in reverse. Also with this, Aquarius, these things that you learn about yourself, it's one thing to just know this stuff. With the Queen of Swords, it's one thing to have those epiphanies, but it's doing something about it afterwards. It's taking that information and putting it into application. The King of Swords, first two decans of Gemini, last of Taurus. We think about this stuff, we process this information, we figure this stuff out, and then we adjust, we bring this, we balance, you know, let me get my words out. we get ourselves secure again. You know, we get ourselves to this emperor state. And the thing with the moon is it's realizing that you can, Aquarius, and seeing through the illusion, seeing through the mystery, you know, that these things are too grand for you. You know, it's just figuring out how we can manifest that, you know, and just how you had your whole family here. I mean, you got a whole soul tribe here. You got Hierophants and High Priestess and the whole family King of Swords here. This dream, Aquarius, you're a sign of networking. Hit up these people. I bet you got a line of people. I mean, you clearly do got a line of people who would love to help you, and however that might look like for you. But the thing is, we got to listen to our heart with this Knight of Cups here, because if something is not resonating with him, if it doesn't feel right, you know, it's not going to work. The energies aren't going to be there. We can try to force it, but you know, that's how we end up getting kind of caught up in a roundabout again and then wondering what's going on. So, you know, but the nice thing too about this, Aquarius, you know, because like really, you know, when we put this stuff we learn into action, then we get wisdom. You know, King of Swords is a card King of Swords is a card of wisdom, and we only get wisdom when we put the stuff that we learned into application. And realizing too that after the moon, once we see through the stuff that we can do this work and get to this to this finish line here, the thing after the sun is after the moon is the sun. The moon just reflects the light of the sun, Aquarius, and it may be a little bit harder for you just because I'm thinking, you know, technically the sun is in detriment in Aquarius, so it might seem like it might shine a little brighter, that you might have to work a little harder to get to that end game. But when you do get to that sun, it's going to shine. It's still shining just as bright. It's just a little bit farther. But man, those extra steps are just going to make you that much stronger, and it's going to get you feeling in that Emperor energy, feeling proud, feeling confident, and feeling this sense of achievement. So I'm with it. I'm absolutely with it 100%. I'm going to leave it there. So if something resonated with you, Aquarius, I hope we were all trying to get towards this Emperor state. Give it a thumbs up. And share this, Aquarius, if you know someone who might be, you know, kind of, you know, weighing some options, you know, kind of stuck in a, you know, kind of figuring this thing out, because we all get there, you know, and that's the beautiful part of the journey. We all get to this thing, but we all get through it too as well. And then, you know, tell all these emperors, empresses, hierophants, because I mean, really too, you got a lot of major arcana cards here. So higher self is trying to cook up some stuff here, but we got to meet higher self halfway. We got to put in some work here. Maybe we got to you got a good mix of like people and higher self and just like everyday things, you know? So if we could just find that balance, man. But I was telling you, tell those people to subscribe. So do that, Aquarius. And then, you know, maybe something that might help you too. Like I've been on this meditation app for years. It's Insight Timer. And I created a group on there called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. It's just a group to drop positive affirmations, encouraging messages. I mean, I was telling Capricorn, talk about your tales, you know, create a story, write a book. I mean, that'd be fantastic, you know, because it can be tough being Saturn ruled, you know, but that adversity really is to your advantage, because it's going to make you something. I mean, just something that, like, who knows what that looks like. That's the thing. The potential is unreal. You know, it's you're shooting star. But yeah, talk about these tales and how you overcame these, you know, and what do we do to overcome, you know, when we hit roadblocks here. And then, you know, as it grows, definitely I got to hit up all these people. I'm definitely cooking up something with the Empress, the High Priestess, to do some like meditation stuff. So yeah, come on over to that, Aquarius, and all that information's in the description box. And then the last thing, in case you have any Cancer in your placements, so you got one of Cancer's cards here. Come on over, like Sun, Moon, Rising. Come on over to my other channel, The Chariot and Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday. I absolutely talk about lunar shenanigans. It's a good old time. And all that housekeeping, down in the description box below. But let me get you surprise cards here so I can get you out of here, Aquarius. Yeah. Two of Cups all day. Making that strong connection with yourself. This is, I mean, after the Lovers, this is like really a good, strong card for just like of connecting with higher self, you know? And, you know, because whether this is with love or with life, you know, if it's not resonating, let me get your other oracle card here. If it's not resonating with you, then we got to fix that. You know, we got to get things back in harmony. Venus in Cancer. if, you know, how's that relationship feeling? If it's not feeling secure, what can we do? How can we fix that? Absolutely. And then you got the witch lungs here, Aquarius. And you know, this to me almost feels like that there's this need that if you do find yourself stuck in anything along those lines, you know, just doing some things to just like break up that cycle, you know, to not just stay steeped in that frustration or anything along those lines, or that, you know, that if we're flustered or whatever that is, you know, if we're just, or confused, or sometimes just getting out, breathing some fresh air, getting out in nature, whatever that looks like, even if we just go down for the block, you know, blocking back, or, you know, just anything to break up the monotony of the day, you know, just, and whatever that looks like for you. You know, I feel that that would help breathe in some new inspiration, you know. And maybe too, just when you think about the witch lungs, you know, we all breathe the same air, Aquarius, and we're all connected. And I say that to say, it's like, again, how people want me, you know, trust those connections that want to help you here. Because you got, I mean, seriously, you got a whole family, the whole family of swords. Swords family came to support you. Got a couple people from the Wands, Queen of Cups. I mean, you got some good support here, at least. And if you know what, and if not, let's work on that. You know, all these little things that we adjust and tweak, that's how we get to that Emperor state. So, all right, I think I'm gonna leave that there, Aquarius. I love that. That was fantastic. Thank you for that, bringing that energy here. So, and now bring it, Aquarius. Bring it. Let's take that energy. Bring it from, we got it here. Now let's manifest it even bigger. So, you stay safe out there. It's, you know, just, and again, this is not to get you feeling weird or anything along those lines, but just keep, you know, just with the gavel, handcuffs, emperor type of deal, just be mindful of that, okay? You know, of any type of authority, staying out of trouble, all right? You know, let's raise that vibration. Oh, and that's what I was gonna say next. Raise that vibration to the roof. And I will catch you on the next one. Later.